Hook the day my son chose his wife over me. I did not cry. I smiled. Not because I was happy. Not because I understood. But because I did not want him to see my heart breaking in front of him. It happened on a quiet evening. The kind of evening where the sun fades slowly, and the house feels heavier than usual. I was standing in the kitchen, stirring tea that had already gone cold. He stood in the doorway. My son. The boy I had raised with my own hands. The boy who used to hold my dupatta when he was scared. The boy who once told me, "Amy, I will never leave you." That boy stood there, but he felt like a stranger. He did not look at me the way he used to. There was distance in his eyes. Silence in his voice. And then he said something I will never forget. "Amy, things are different now." Just those words. Simple. Calm. Soft. But they broke something inside me that never healed the same way again. Set up, I raised my son alone. His father passed away when he was just 5 years old. I still remember that day clearly. The house was full of people, but I had never felt so alone. My son did not understand what death meant. He kept asking, "When will Abba come back?" I had no answer. So I held him close and said, "I am here. I will never leave you." And from that day on, I became everything for him. Mother. Father. Friend. I worked hard. I stitched clothes late into the night. I skipped meals sometimes, just so he could have milk in the morning. But I never complained. Because every time I looked at him, I felt strong again. He was a kind child. Soft-hearted. Always thinking about others. When he was 10, he once gave his lunch to a boy at school who had nothing to eat. When I asked him why, he said, "He looked more hungry than me." That was my son. And I was proud. As he grew older, our bond grew stronger. We would sit together in the evenings. He would tell me about his day. I would listen carefully, even if I was tired. Sometimes, he would say, "Amy, when I grow up, I will take care of you." And I would smile. Because in my heart, I believed him. Years passed. He studied hard. He got a good job. And slowly, our life became easier. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. And then, came the day he told me he wanted to get married. Rising conflict, I was happy. Truly happy. Because I wanted him to have a complete life. A family of his own. A partner to walk beside him. When I met her for the first time, she seemed polite. Quiet. Reserved. She spoke gently. She respected me. And I thought, maybe Allah has been kind to us. The wedding was simple but beautiful. I remember watching my son that day. He looked so happy. So proud. And I told myself, this is a new chapter. Everything will be fine. But slowly, things began to change. At first, it was small. He stopped sitting with me in the evenings. Then, he stopped asking how my day was. And then, he stopped noticing me at all. I told myself it was normal. New marriage. New responsibilities. But days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And the distance between us kept growing. One evening, I made his favorite meal. I waited for him at the table. He came home late. He walked straight past me and into his room. I called out softly, "Beta, I made your favorite food." He paused, but did not turn back. "We already ate outside," he said. That was the first time I felt something shift. Not anger. Not even sadness. Just emptiness. His wife was not rude. She never said anything harsh to me. But there was something in her silence. Something that made me feel like I did not belong in my own home anymore. Sometimes, when I entered a room, conversations would stop. Sometimes, decisions were made, without even telling me. I began to feel like a guest. In the house I had built. Turning point, and then came that evening. The evening that changed everything. It was raining outside. The kind of soft rain that makes everything quiet. I was sitting near the window, watching the drops fall slowly. He came home early that day. Unusual. He stood near the door for a while. Like he was gathering courage. Then he walked toward me. Amy, his voice was calm. Too calm. I turned and smiled. You came early today. He nodded. There was a pause. A long, heavy pause. Then he said, Amy, we have been thinking, that word. We. Not I. We. Something inside me already knew. He continued, it would be better if you stayed with Kala for some time. I blinked. I thought I heard him wrong. What? I asked softly. He avoided my eyes. It's just, things are getting difficult. We need some space. Space. In my own home. I looked at him carefully. Did I do something wrong? I asked. He shook his head quickly. No, Amy. It's not like that. But his voice did not sound sure. It's just, things are different now. Those words again. Different. I felt my chest tighten. But I did not cry. I did not shout. I just nodded slowly. If that makes you happy, I said. He looked relieved. Relieved. That was the moment I realized he had already made his choice. Resolution that night, I packed my things quietly. Not much. Just a few clothes. Some memories. I touched the walls of my room before leaving. Every corner held a story. His first steps. His laughter. His childhood. And now, silence. When I stepped out of the house, the rain had stopped. The air felt cold. But I felt strangely calm. As if something inside me had already accepted the truth. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. He did not call. At first, I waited. Every day. I kept my phone close. But slowly. I stopped expecting. I began to build a new routine. A quieter life. A smaller life. But a peaceful one. And then, one day. He came. Ending, I was sitting outside, sipping tea. Just like I used to. He stood at the gate. Looking unsure. Like a child again. I looked at him. Really looked at him. And for a moment. I saw my little boy again. He walked toward me slowly. Amy, his voice broke. I'm sorry. Just 2 words. But they carried years of silence. Years of distance. I did not rush to him. I did not cry. I just listened. Because sometimes, silence says more than words. After a long pause, I said softly, sit down. He sat beside me. Just like old times. And for the first time in a long time, we shared a quiet moment together. No anger. No blame. Just understanding. Because love does not disappear. It only waits. And sometimes, people lose their way. But if the heart is still soft, they find their way back. Final reflection: life teaches us many things. But the hardest lesson is this. Love should never be taken for granted. Parents do not ask for much. Just a little respect. A little time. A little place in your life. And if you have that, hold on to it. Because one day, you may realize what you lost. And not everyone gets the chance to come back. But if you do, go. Before it's too late. End.